Are we live? What's up, guys? Tilna from Melbourne today. We are live today, and today's topic is actually a value topic. So, where we are going to be talking about does eating at night, does eating at night makes you fat? So, certain time ago, like long time ago, like I would say, like when I first started going to the gym, like in 2007, after my A levels, like one of the things I was told by the gym instructors back then was the fact that like if you eat at night, you're gonna gain fat, and when you do skip your breakfast, you will get lean. So that's actually uh, the advices I got back then, and I'm just gonna be talking. That's something I used to believe, like till I actually came here in 2009, and also I used to skip a lot of dinners because of this factor, like early days when I was actually following a lot of bro science. So Ashan, how you doing today? So it's 3 weeks away from prep, so it's no longer 4 weeks out anymore for most
Yeah,
people. So how's your date being? Like you're down to lower calories again, as I know. So yeah, so you're going good, and yeah, so how's things been going? We are excited about going to India in about after 3 years time.
yeah, yeah. Pretty good. The prep is going on well. Just that we need to get the other things ready, like accommodation and all the others which we have to do in India. Apart
Yeah,
from that, all the others are on point right now, and the prep is going good. Tired as usual. It is part of it, and that
yeah.
is not something that you can complain about not having enough food or you know all that weird stuff you feel now. It is part of it, so it's good going on well.
Yeah, that's great. So great to hear, because all the athletes who are in Sri Lanka, I want to say like big shout out to all of you, like Imdad, Milan, and also Pumal and Justin and you, and also Tilanka from Dubai, who's actually there's actually six of us who's actually going to like raise the flag in India in a couple of weeks time, and there's another team going to Delhi as well, who's going to be competing in Delhi. So the gym people from Katsai Gym will also be there. So look forward to like an exciting event coming across. So either way, going into today's topic, let's deep dive into it, because we have a lot of myths to break today, and hopefully this will actually give value to you in order to not skip dinner, because people either skip breakfast, people either skip dinner. So those are the extreme measures people take in their fat loss journey. So one of the things you need to understand is like the fact that it's not that complicated. Like you don't need to like restrict yourself. More you restrict yourself, more damage you'll do to yourself later on, later down the line. So let's start off by like how did this thing about skipping dinner, having dinner at night, like having dinner or snacking at dinner like makes you fat theory came from. So the usual thing is the fact that when people actually see things on social media, if something has actually been told, people actually believe it, like their life depends on it. So most of the time, if people say, like if somebody says like water is poisonous, people will do that as well. So it's all about like what you see in the social media and the internet. So most of the things are not true, so always make sure you actually do your own research to check whether these things are does have a background, or uh, does it really make sense to say those things or all of that. Because I've come across like certain periods where like people who are like qualified people like actually used to tell me, give me advice saying like you got to cut carbs at night, you got to cut this. It's not about cutting and cutting and cutting, it's about balancing. That's what you need to like focus on. So that's the important factor about making being healthy and fit as a lifestyle. So that's what we are here to tell you today, and hopefully this will actually give you value. So do not eat before bed. Usually the time, as I remember, it was either 8 p.m. or 7 p.m. That's the time I was actually told back in the day. Like, was it 7 or 8? Not that important anyway. So let's say like, well, let's start with where this thing began in the industry. So one of the things which has happened in the long ago was there was a research which showed that people who actually snacked at night used to have a higher BMI, where they actually shows that they are obese. But the truth of the fact is the fact that nobody actually um, So when people actually did say the fact that like skipping breakfast will actually get you fat, people actually followed that too. So skipping dinner followed that too. So what they actually did not know was the fact that like amount of calories they consume throughout the day, like during the process. So when you snack at night, you might gain fat. Yes, that could happen. But what you must understand is the fact that when you are gaining fat, how many calories you are consuming during the day. So what they really was doing back in the day was like when you are snacking at night, you were actually eating on a surplus. That's what was actually happening. So you are anyway gonna get fat when you are eating on a surplus. So that's point like will be coming at the end of this live. But like before that, I'll actually debunk three myths I've come across, like which actually people actually believe why skip having dinner at night before bed will actually make you fat. What actually was the reason why people actually believed it? So before that, Ashan, just tell me, because you've been on a period where you have been like fasting before you started in 2016. So tell us about your experience on that aspect where you were actually skipping dinner because just for the fact that you want to like get lean, get in shape, but you forgot one aspect, which is actually the muscle mass, right? So let us know about your experience on that aspect, Ashan.
Yeah, I think skipping dinner, skipping breakfast, I've done it all. To be honest, so the problem is, initially, I might have, uh, uh, lost some weight, right? But it was never sustainable. I always felt that no matter how much I tried to push that with my willpower, I was never energetic enough to go through my workout, do my cardio, and mind you, at that point I was working as well, right? So you need a lot of mental focus to go ahead with your work. So that is exactly what happened, right? And I might have done it for like 2-3 days in a row, but after that, I don't end up refeeding. I end up just binging.
Yes.
That's what I do, right? So I plan to stop eating by 6, but that's the time I finish my workout as well, right? So
Yes.
obviously I need another meal, so then I eat a little bit, and then I wake up in the morning. I mean, again, when you don't have enough food in your system, it affects your sleep as well. There is a
Yes.
scientific connection, but there is the simple explanation. So then
Explanation.
you wake up in the middle of the night and you don't even know how many calories you eat at that point. Whatever is there in the fridge, I ate, and then
Yes.
again I have to restart. So it was never a sustainable plan for me.
Exactly. So that's when you actually started, and when you started eating more, and you actually made more progress, and you are like 3 weeks away from stage, like for the second time in your career. So that's something you can be happy about. So there's three things I've actually come across when it comes to saying that this factor about like skipping breakfast, skipping dinner, having dinner at night makes you fat, is the fact that like people who actually believed it thought like the theory they have come across is the fact that they think like the metabolism of the person slows down when you're sleeping. So after 8 p.m. if you eat, you won't burn any fat, burn any calories. So that was the belief which was actually has happened like before. But the truth of the matter of the fact that last week we spoke about like calories you burn just don't burn through exercise and doing steps. You burn calories through sleeping, or like sometimes even um, thinking, or maybe like even like whenever you do the small functions in daily activities, like you will still burn calories. So when you are sleeping, your body still functions, your brain works, you don't stop breathing when you are sleeping. So in order for these functions to work, so that means your lungs are also working and your heart is also functioning. So all these process to go through, you need to burn calories. So it happens through calories. So when you do not have enough calories to do this, like it will make sure these process won't be like smooth enough, so it will not have enough. When you skip dinner, that's what usually happens. So in order for these things like the brain, breathing, lungs to function properly, you will need to eat. So this thing happens through calories. So when you do not consume calories, that process, your metabolism won't slow down. Like metabolism will slow down when you actually skip it, but like when you don't skip it, like you will be able to have enough energy to function because you will be given energy through calories. So Ashan, like you've heard about this factor about metabolism slows down when you sleep. That's one of the things which believes. So but we speak about when we are athletes, sleep is a vital factor in your transformation. Sometimes people do not lose fat because they don't sleep enough. Sometimes the reason why they don't sleep is because they don't eat enough at night. And the reason why, when you are starving, you might not have to do those activities, right Ashan, like you've had experience where you were like starving a lot, where you couldn't sleep, right, and that interfered with your fat loss journey because your body won't have calories to function, right?
So the problem with not being able to sleep was, I end up eating more food at night, right? That is what happens. Every time, when I get good sleep, let's say that when I go to sleep around 9:30, I wake up in the morning. I'm much more energetic. I don't have those food cravings as well, right? So then, it's easier for me to take on the day from there onwards, right? So that is exactly what happened. So most people, when it comes to fat loss, they think about uh, 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 yeah, they think about fasting, they think about working out and everything, but they forget the fact that resting is really important, right? That is what they think.
Your
I mean,
body
your
needs
sleep
slow down.
has to be on point. Maybe you won't be able to sleep for 8 hours, but still, at least let's say that you're someone who only gets to sleep for like 4 hours. Just make sure that you sleep well. Just make
Yeah.
sure that you're giving yourself a good rest, because this is some sort of a machine, right? Your body. Because I mean, I have tried to work out, sleep deprived, and I have never felt better, right? And once that failed workout is done, mentally,
Yeah,
it
satisfied.
wants you to go and eat junk food and make yourself feel better. That is that is what the message was from the brain.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, I couldn't make any progress because my workouts weren't good, because nothing was going on well. But since the day I started following a proper deficit, right? I had food to eat at night. I lost weight, I lost fat, and on the other hand, I look very full. I look as a person who works out, right? Not someone who has shrunken down, over a time period.
Yes, exactly. So the next thing, like people used to believe, like this was something like I heard from a client of mine, like who was advised by a doctor: skip carbs at night. So what you need to understand, like, is the fact that like skipping carbs at night, or like I've actually once actually went to I'm not going to mention names, but how am I going to say it, but went to a certain place where I actually do my recovery process, like where I was actually told like I don't actually have carbs at night. Like I don't let my wife bring food after 3 p.m. to my house. Like I only make sure like my family eats from like 8 a.m. till 3 p.m. And I never went to that place because like the advice that was given was like really, really wrong. And I was like not in a place to listen to those things. So anyway, so that was actually my personal experience. So what I need you to understand is the fact that carbs will be energy. So when you do not use them, it will be stored as glycogen in your body. But the thing is, when your glycogen will have only a limited amount of space, and when it's actually filled up, what happens is the rest will be stored as fat. But it doesn't mean the period of time period you consume the meal will make you fat. It only means this is what happens like when you have more. But when you have when you have more, that's what happens. But when you have too less is not the solution to go ahead with. So that's number two with regards to not skipping carbs at night isn't the solution for it. So number three is the fact that like number three is the fact that like you gain fat late night snacking because of the elevated insulin level. Because insulin is something like people actually talk about a lot. But one of the things people do not understand is the fact that like people say like insulin level is high during the night. So because of that, like when you eat or snack at night, like your body won't like burn that. That's something like I have actually heard like 10 years ago when I was actually following a lot of bro science. And because of that, like I didn't eat, because back in the day, like 10 years ago, I was not a person who was able to cook meals properly. Like right now, I'm much better at that. Like I must tell you, I'm much better at cooking meals and all of that stuff. But like back in the day, I wasn't cooking, so I thought like that's the right way to go when your insulin level elevates and you'll have like things in your bloodstream. So when you eat at night, when you snack at night, what happens is um, it will be stored as fat. So that was the belief I used to have back in the day. But the truth is, your insulin level will be low like in the morning when you wake up, but there's no difference between lunch and dinner. So that means like if that's true where you eat at night, when you have elevated insulin level, you'll get fat. If that's true, that means like when you have breakfast and when you have the remaining meals throughout the day, whatever you eat will actually make you fat. That's what it means. But the truth of the matter of the fact is that that is not true. So the bottom line after all these factors considered is the fact that you must understand, in order for your body to burn fat, you must be on a calorie deficit. So that means um, eat that doesn't mean you need to eat less or like less and less and less. That means you need to eat moderately or either higher calorie deficit. So that's one of the things we do with our clients, which has actually gotten them results, because most of the meals you see like of clients who eat like have like larger meals. Some of them are like having burgers, some of them are having pizzas, and all of those things which actually can be added into their meal plan when you're actually going through a fat loss journey. So it doesn't mean you need to be restricted massively in order to get to your goal. More restrictions means more suffering. So that's not what we want you to have. So when you do not enjoy the process of fat loss or weight loss, it's not going to be sustainable long run. So bottom line again today is the fact that like you must be on a calorie deficit. So skipping at night, stop if you skip dinner because you think you're gonna lose fat, is not the solution for your problem. So most of the time like people did not know is the fact that people who actually research the fact that the people who are having higher BMI were usually having thick shakes at night, or maybe food which is actually calorie dense, which are higher calories, maybe 1,500 2,000 meal or something like that. That's what's actually going to get you fat, having meals at that much at night. So unless you are a person who can handle like a lot of calories, it's the theory won't apply to like all the people who can actually like consume like a higher number of things. So people who are like having higher BMIs, who were snacking at night, were pretty much like obese people. So they were actually already having like higher calories. So that was the reason why, like for the people who were actually gaining weight during like having dinner at night or snacking at night. So that's it for today, and I hope you guys got value out of this live today. And so make sure you don't skip your dinner. Make sure you have your dinner, have your breakfast, have your lunch. Just have it moderately, or maybe a little bit more. Who doesn't matter as long as it's a calorie deficit. So that's it for today. So is there anything you can add, Ashan, like with regards to this, because you've gone through this experience before?
Yes. Calorie deficit, it doesn't mean starvation. I mean, when you reduce your calories and when you come to a deficit, you will know how much you have to eat, right? Because when I go on a deficit, I really do have a lot of food to eat, right? So I can enjoy, I can push my workout, I can push my cardio. Uh, One mistake people do is, they check bodybuilders on YouTube and they try to do their peak week. That
Yes.
don't do that. Do not do that, because that is not sustainable. Even professional bodybuilders only do this for 1 week. That's it. And
Yes.
after that, they either go back to a surplus maintenance, or maybe a little bit less than maintenance. That is what they do. So
Exactly.
there's a lot of information out there. They do it for a purpose. You don't have to do that. I say this because I
Yes.
did the same. That's why.
Yeah. So and also peak week comes with a lot of deposits in the off season and a lot of things as well. So anyway, guys, hope you guys got value, and so make sure you don't skip your dinner. Have your dinner and have a great day. And I'll see you guys soon. And let's go. Let's dominate.